Hello and welcome. I hope this video finds you filled with positive sensations. Regardless, it's time to relax and enjoy your daily Russian math problem. Today's problem is for the 9th grade and comes from the Future of Innovative Russia Olympiad, school year 2020. Here's the problem in its original formulation. The translation will follow shortly, but first, let's get you the daily dosage of Russian you didn't know you needed. Из города А в город Б выехал первый автомобиль. Одновременно навстречу ему из города Б в А отправился второй автомобиль. Первый прибыл в Б через 2,5 часа после встречи, а второй прибыл в А через 1,6 часов после встречи. Сколько часов был в пути каждый автомобиль? And now, the English version. As one car started moving from city A to city B, a second car started moving from city B to city A following the same road. Both cars move with constant speed. The first car arrived to B in 2.5 hours after meeting the second car, and the second car arrived to A in 1.6 hours after that meeting. How many hours have each of the cars been on the road? I'll now give you a couple of seconds to pause the video in case you want to first try to solve the problem yourself. Let L1 be the distance from A to the point where the cars met. Let L2 be the distance from the point where the cars met to B. We denote the speeds of the cars as V1 and V2. We are given the times on the road for each car after they met. So L2 over V1 is 2.5, and L1 over V2 is 1.6. It is important to realize that the time both cars spent on the road before the meeting must be the same. So L1 over V1 must equal to L2 over V2. We now look at both sides of this equality. On the one hand, L1 over V1 is equal to L1 over V2 times V2 over V1, which equals 1.6 times V2 over V1. On the other hand, on the right side of the equality, we have L2 over V2 is equal to L2 over V1 times V1 over V2 equals to 2.5 V1 over V2. Assembling the equality again, we get 1.6 V2 over V1 is equal to 2.5 V1 over V2. Rearranging, we get 16 over 25 is equal to V1 squared over V2 squared. Taking the square root, we get V1 is equal to 0.8 V2. Let's clean up. Having computed V1 equals to 0.8 V2 and the input from the problem's formulation, we can compute the total time on the road for each car. The time for the first car is equal to the total distance, L1 plus L2, divided by V1. So we get T1 is equal to L1 plus L2 over V1, which equals 1.6 V2 plus 2.5 V1 divided by V1. And now we exchange V2 with 1 over 0.8 V1. V1 thus disappears from the expression, and we're left with 1.6 over 0.8 plus 2.5, which equals to 4.5 hours. We proceed similarly to compute the time spent on the road by the second car, which turns out to be 3.6 hours. The answer to the problem is thus 4.5 hours for the first car and 3.6 hours for the second. This concludes today's episode of your daily Russian math. I hope you enjoyed it. Пока-пока.